Hi guys and welcome to G Reviews and to this review of Thor Ragnarok. First of all guys, as a Thor movie, it's a really fun movie. It's colorful, it has good action scenes in terms of cool showing of strength and power. There's a lot of that in this movie and I love that. I just love such things. Compared to the other two movies, it's totally better than Thor 2. Compared to the first movie, well, the first movie had more substance in my opinion. It was a bit raw compared to how the whole Marvel universe it is now. First movie had more heart and more substance. And now everything is such a comedy, and not that before it wasn't. But now everything is to the point of some kind of a parody, and I personally don't really like that. But I have to explain. So, this movie overall has great characters, great pacing, and it's fun. But what I want to see from my superhero movies, personally, is substance over fun. So, the substance part to replace the comedy part for most of it. And what we have here is a total comedy through and through, and although you do have some serious moments, I was not that concerned. Even Hela, even she has a comedic aspect to her, and although she is a huge badass, what to tell you guys, she could be more used, but she was kinda of an afterthought. There were some interesting things that were uncovered because of her, but overall she was kinda of an afterthought and nothing was really about her, so to say. And I don't want to get into spoilers, let's just say that something happened to Thor that I disagree with a lot. Maybe I will mention that, when I get to the spoilers. Maybe I will get to the spoilers at the end of the video. Okay, and Loki was great. I enjoyed the dynamic between him and Thor as always. That was fun, and I did enjoy how Thor was able to counteract some of what Loki does in this movie, which I'm pleased that he's not so naive anymore, so that's good. That's not really a spoiler. Hulk and Bruce Banner. What to tell you guys, Bruce Banner for me is lame, so I don't care to see him at all, especially naked. God, I just don't want to see him naked, but anyways. As for the other nakedness of this movie of Thor, Chris Hemsworth really, worked out for this movie again, and that's awesome, and it shows, and I think he kind of looks bigger in this movie than previous movies. But I mean, that's important for me, and how I think about how superheroes should look. He does look very well, and on that note, he has very narrow shoulders, which is not good bodybuilding wise, but that's on the fitness side, so yeah, I'm not going to get into that. But let's just say he looked amazing. And the other things that I usually see, you can call it something like a professional distortion to this point. It just, my observation of perfection and what could be done and what is there, what's not there. But anyways, Tessa Thompson was great as Valkyrie. Jeff Goldblum was great. There was a lot of fun things about his character and his right hand lackey or just right hand soldier. I just don't want to get into that. It's funny though. So overall, this whole movie, guys, is very fun. It is. I laughed out loud a lot of times. It's just like watching a comedy with special effects. But again, I prefer my superhero movies to be with a lot more substance, with a lot more heart, to feel really the stakes, and I didn't get that here at all. I mean, it was such a comedy that when I walked out of the movie, then I went home and I started watching Stranger Things Season 1. And I actually completely forgot about Thor this very day, and I already was almost finished with Stranger Things by the end of the night. So I was like, oh, Stranger Things, it was so great, and I'm happy that I can finally see this, so I can start season 2 and going to bed, and all of a sudden I'm like, so space. Because I was thinking something about Stranger Things, and from that I started thinking about space. When I started thinking about space, I all of a sudden thought about Thor, because there's a lot of space things or scenes in Thor, and that is how I actually came to the thought of Thor that I see in the movie. So I was like, oh yeah, and I saw Thor today. Can you imagine that? And I was waiting for this movie for such a long time. So once again, as I feel with every other Marvel movie, maybe besides Doctor Strange, these movies come and go from my mind. They just don't stick because they don't leave any emotional imprint on me like the DC movies do. I mean, I know that fans are divided, some fans are divided on the DC movies, but for me, they give me a lot more heart, a lot more substance and sense, although a lot of people do not see the sense in them, but I do. I do see everything that Zack Snyder envisioned, that Patty Jenkins envisioned, and all of that. I mean, most people don't have a problem with Wonder Woman, but I mean, those movies stick with me. They stay with me. I remember so vividly everything from Man of Steel. I remember everything from BVS. Less so than Man of Steel, but still, I do. The fight scenes, what they talked, some of the lines, they just hit me inside. And I can never forget when I walk out of the movie theater that I've seen those movies, and they stick with me for days, and I want to see them again and again, almost immediately. Whereas Marvel movies, I would like to see them again with a friend in the movie theaters if someone else paid my ticket, which never happened before, just so I can have this fun friend experience. But it's not because the movie is so great that I will remember it, I used to watch all those animations, Iron Man, Spider-Man, when I was a little kid, and I remember episodes, scenes, everything. It was presented in such a way that you just get into the character, into his thoughts and feelings, and you're just there with him, feeling what he is feeling. And I'm just looking for that in my superhero movies. I'm not just looking for total fun. And yes, I know that there's going to be some comedy in Justice League, which is a-okay, because in real life we do have comedy moments, and right after that or a bit later during the day we can have a sad or an angry moment, so that's normal. It's something from life, and it should be present in the movies too. But when it gets so overdone and done and done and done, it just doesn't leave anything in you except the laughter that you had momentarily when you watched it. But I can't even think about most of the things that I laughed at, honestly. And when we have seen, let's say something happened a bit dramatic in Thor, and when you don't actually see blood, but you see people get stabbed, it's not believable. They're just like plastic dolls. I mean, I don't feel anything. And what to tell you guys, not that I want to see blood and gore or anything like that, but there has to be some kind of seriousness at one point. And even Sartor, the demon god, or whatever you can call him, even he joked in the movie, and he was such a cliche. He was taken for a joke. He was this huge power, but he was completely used as some dumbass, like fully dumbass that wanted to destroy. That's all that he wanted. And the relationship between Thor and Jane was completely misguided. I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but he was like, well, she broke up with me. Well, I broke up with her. Well, we both broke up with each other. Or something like that. And it was so freaking jokey. But guys, she was the vocal point of the first movie and even the second movie, and she is one of the biggest reasons why Thor became a different person. He was like a child in the first movie. He behaved like a spoiled brat, and she was one of the people that made him see what it's like to be human and how you can deal with this world even without powers and all of that. She showed him how to be a real man and a warrior, and he became the man in the world that he was supposed to be, and not a spoiled brat. So she is a huge deal, like a freaking huge deal. But because, you know, Natalie Portman didn't want to be in Thor 3 and she didn't even want to be in Thor 2, they had to think of something to make her go away. But it's super disrespectful to her and to her character and their relationship, and what their relationship represented for the first two movies. It's just ridiculous. It's like they were teenagers that were just fooling around, nothing serious. Today we're here, tomorrow we are not there together. It's stupid. You can never see something so carelessly done in a DC movie. And again, I don't want to be comparing the two that much, but I'm just saying that DC was always, you know, darker and more serious, and sometimes that is just a lot better because at least you get real stories with meaning, with something in it, you know? So pretty much Marvel to me right now, it's like a croissant without the chocolate inside or the marmalade inside, depending on what croissants you had. And this is like the croissant with chocolate on top and chocolate from the inside, so I have everything that I want. That's just me. I know that other people are not exactly like that on that page as me, but I'm just saying how I see and how I feel things and what those movies give me. Scale 1 to 10, Thor Ragnarok, I would say that it's an 8 as a fun factor. Well, as a superhero movie, guys, I would say 7.5 or 7. Pretty much. Yeah. And now a bit of spoiler, so thank you very much for watching. To everybody that reached this point of the video and don't want any spoilers, you can check out the links down below, my t-shirt store, if you want to support me. Until next time with Gary G reviews. So spoilers. What I want to talk about basically is how Thor lost an eye from Hela, and we did have this one scene in the trailer when he is rising up with all of that lightning surrounding him and coming out of him, obviously, and his eyes were glowing with the thunder, you know, the blue light. But that in the movie is not like that, because one of his eyes is missing and Hela took that eye away from him with her weapon. Yeah, I very much disagree for Thor to be turning into Odin and replacing Odin. I know that Thor is basically the king now of nothing, of its people mostly, but he doesn't have any land. And Asgard completely destroyed. Are you kidding me? It's Asgard, it should be there. I just think that that was stupid. I mean, because the movie has no substance pretty much, we have to destroy Asgard that we had, and that is supposed to be there for eternity. So let's destroy something that's supposed to be there for eternity, and we have our substance now. I don't think that that's how things work. I understand why Asgard was destroyed overall, but I don't think that makes enough sense. Just don't fight the villain, let the other villain destroy the other villain, and in this case Surtur destroying Hela, and Thor wasn't even able to stop her, so he basically tricked her so Surtur can destroy the whole of Asgard. So it's totally better if Surtur destroys everything, like super everything, completely obliterates it. And also it's better because Hela is dead. So Thor thinks that Hela ruling Asgard is worse than having it. So better to destroy it along with her. Yes, well, she was going to go and probably conquer everything, so she was going to be a huge problem for Earth eventually, I'm pretty sure. So he basically destroyed Asgard for that, so he can be rid of Hela and the whole universe can be rid of her. And Odin convinced him that it's not Asgard that is actually the point. Well, where's he's gonna go now with all of his people? And if his power comes from Asgard, and if Asgard no longer exists, where where is Thor going to channel his power from? And how are they even gods? I mean, all the people of Asgard seem to be pretty much the same as Thor. So why does he have power? Why does Oli have power? And why does everybody that's considered royal have any kind of power but not the other people? What's the difference? We have no freaking idea. So guys, I'm just thinking out loud basically of what were my questions. I don't think that the movies did very good job of explaining much. I can't go on what we have in the comics because the movies are what most people are going to see, and most people are not going to read the comic books to explain all that, where the Thor's powers coming from, why he's a god, why the other people of Asgard are different from him, and why the Valkyries even are special, because it seems like they're just ordinary girls that they had very cool weapons and they were able to go and fight with a goddess, and she destroyed them, obliterated them totally because she's a goddess, but they're not. But at the same time they have something that's more than the regular people, maybe just abilities and weapons and flying horses. Anyways, it's a long topic, guys, so in terms of spoilers, the last scenes, post-credit scenes, were not really worth it. I'm not sure what that huge ship was at the end that discovered Thor and his ship. And second scene with Jeff Goldblum, stupid. I didn't really need to see that. I don't care about that. No substance at all, as always. So it was funny, but it was not worth waiting 10 minutes for the whole credits to finish. It's ridiculous, Marvel. I'm just hating so much to be made to sit through all of that. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until next time with Gary G Reviews.